Welcome to episode 179 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary, how has it been?
Oh, it's been really great.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm feeling a little off this morning for some reason.
I do too.
What is that?
I
Why?
don't know. I think there's something in the air.
It's like too much going on, maybe?
There's a lot going on.
I don't mean politically. I mean like personally. Like there's just too much, there's too many things happening that are happening right now. And it's like you have to get through this to do the next thing that we're doing.
Yes.
And then get on with my day,
yes.
which is full of stuff to do. So I'm like anxious. Maybe that's what it is. So I'm going to take a deep breath and try to center myself into the podcast.
Believe.
Oh, thank you. Tina's finally watching Ted Lasso. And she texted me last night. She's like, it's such a great show. I'm like, welcome to the last 4 years. I know it's a great fucking show. Where have you been?
I love the vulnerability on the show.
Yeah.
I love it.
With like everyone.
Yeah. I'm like, can we all be like that? And I just watched the episode. Guess who my favorite is?
Oh, the Spanish guy. What's his name? Who? The Ramos? Not Ramos.
No.
Rojas?
No.
Wait, who's your favorite?
Roy Kent.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a given. I feel it's a given. He's everybody's favorite.
I was like, wait.
When he's like,
yeah.
Maybe that's why you like me so much.
It's so cute. And like the episode where he's like just, he says like, hi, like he's not giving her like the space that she needs, and it's so cute. I'm like, oh.
I did a rewatch of that recently. I fucking loved it so much.
Oh my God.
So good.
Yeah, I'm watching it with my kids, and they really like it.
Oh,
and
so good.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Let's start with good stuff. There's a couple. First of all, we have our... So, here's a good thing. Our merch store is now live and open and ready for business.
Yes.
Why don't you go buy something from us?
Please buy something.
We made some funny Florida shirts. And
the Florida shirts are so good.
They're so fucking... I ordered one, and so I was hoping it would be here so I could wear it today, but it's coming, like, tomorrow.
Aww.
So, I'll wear it on the next week's show. We can preview the merch.
Yes. I gotta
try not to stare at my tits when you're looking at the shirt, okay? That's not what's on preview here.
Oh my.
But if you want to, that's okay too. Hey! Feminism. Here's another great thing. Oh, anyway, so we have stickers and magnets and mugs and t-shirts and bumper stickers and just tote bags.
Yes.
Go look. And if you are a patron of our Patreon and you give us money every month, thank you. We sent out thank you notes yesterday with Muckster stickers, which is one of the stickers we call our fans Mucksters. And we are super excited. We have a new patron, my sister-in-law, Laurel,
Yay!
who I love so much. Thank you for joining us and supporting us. She's I love you guys. So thank you so much. I think that's it for the merch store. We're just really excited about it.
I know, we finally have this up and running. We've been wanting to do this for so long, and we're going to keep adding to it as we get ideas.
Yeah. And I think the great thing about it is that when things happen, we can immediately make a design and put it up, and I think that's pretty awesome for sale, Yes. So anything that happens here or anywhere else, we can, put it right up.
If you have any ideas that you want to share.
No, fuck you. Keep them to yourself. No one's interested. We're the creative ones. God damn it. No, that's
Scratch
right.
that.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
I mean,
what was I thinking?
Yeah. we don't need input. Here's something I'm super excited about. Lionel Messi is coming to Inter Miami.
Yes.
He is an incredible, they say he's the GOAT of
I have a
soccer
downside to that.
Or football. I don't care. Let me just get through this. I'm excited because I'm going to see Lionel Messi. Well, we have tickets.
You already have tickets?
Yeah, but I don't know if he'll be here then, but I'm hoping that he will. I love going to Inter Miami games. Have you taken your kids to Inter Miami games?
Yeah.
Oh,
do you know who my husband is?
I know, that's what I mean. Is he excited?
Well, he's disappointed. So I'm going to rain on the parade for
a
moment.
God damn it.
So tickets that were like $30 2 days ago are now $500.
Yeah, well, that's why I was like, we need to get on Ticketmaster right now.
And to me, it's like, so you're going to just price out regular families that used to
Are
be able to
those-
go to games, and now
Are they resale tickets or not?
So I guess what people are doing, like if you had season tickets, they're like jacking up prices.
So those are their personal,
you know, and then so like that's the thing that's disappointing. Like I was super excited. I sent my son. I was like, Messi's coming to Inter, and my son's like, proof. I'm like, God damn it. So I'm like, here's the article, here's the thing, and so we were super, super excited. And then when I heard that about the money, I'm like, come on, Inter. Everybody should be able to go see a game. It shouldn't just be priced out.
Well, if it's season tickets, those are people who have tickets and they're reselling their own tickets. But there was a super fucking funny tweet that made me laugh so goddamn hard, because there was a thing where it's like Messi's taking his talents to South Beach, right? Like LeBron James.
South Beach.
Yeah. So someone, this is a funny, from Menora Efron, her tweet said, "You're gonna fucking die. I regret to inform Europe that he's technically taking his talents to Commercial Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale near a bunch of auto body shops and a seafood restaurant named Catfish Julie's."
Catfish Julie's.
Because if you're not aware, Inter Miami, which is co-owned by David Beckham, has been trying to build a stadium in Miami for like a decade, and these motherfuckers cannot. I mean, I don't even know why David Beckham is still fucking with South Florida, because so they put up this like temporary stadium in Fort Lauderdale, and there was all these caveats for them to be able to do that they made deals with the city of Fort Lauderdale, and they're supposed to build a playground.
Oh yeah, and they're going back on that. They're like
they had not built a playground, and so the city's like, you know what? Then you can go fuck yourself and not use our parking field,
and it's
which
already
is a field.
expensive as hell to park there. It's like
and
$30.
it's like so now like even where this thing is, like David Beckham and those the co-owners of this team probably hate South Florida elected so much, and I don't blame you. Also, Fort Lauderdale, get your heads out of your asses. This is money that is temporarily coming into your city. The team is called Inter Miami.
Yeah.
They are here temporarily using your they built a stadium here. That money's coming in, the tax dollars are coming into your fucking pockets, and you're gonna give them a hard time about parking? Shut the fuck up! I mean, have you ever seen anything so short-sighted in your fucking life? Get the fuck out of here. Because once that stadium is built in Miami and they leave, that's it. Nobody, Bafangul. That's like nobody's going to be coming here to do anything.
Well, I mean, I think they might still use it for trainings and for the academy that they have and other, but it won't be like it is now. It's not games.
Yeah.
And that's money.
It's money. You're so dumb. You're so fucking stupid. What are we going to get out of it? What are you going to get out of it? I saw a picture with Dean Trantalo shaking hands with David Beckham a couple years ago when they fucking started playing here. How about that?
God, I would love
that's
to
worth
shake
it.
that man's
Oh my
hand.
God, that's totally worth it.
Oh my God.
Bend me like Beckham.
God.
So those are the two things I was super excited about.
I mean, that is exciting. and my dad yesterday was like, you know, talking to my husband, like, are you going to go to the game to see Messi, you know? And he's like, not for $500. And my dad goes, oh, $100? You go for $100?
Yeah, what are we talking here? What are we talking? What if it was you know, his Royal Highness rolling through town? Yeah. Would he go see him then?
I mean, yeah. I know that my son really, really, really wants to go. Yeah. And I'm sure that we will make our way to one of the games where Messi's playing at some point.
Got to.
And my husband is, I don't know if he's kicking himself or not, but he was like, should I get season tickets? Should I get season tickets?
Oh my God.
And he always gets he was getting season tickets back when it was the Strikers.
Oh! I used to go to Strikers games when I was a kid? Oh, we fucking loved the Strikers games.
We did Strikers, and what was the one before that? The Miami team that was the yellow and blue. Oh my God. But they used to play this. So like,
that's a callback, Fort Lauderdale Strikers.
Yeah. So,
by the way, great muck story. I'll cover that one day. Like the way they fucked that team, it was so good. But it's like owners, but it's still, there's political stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Story.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yeah. Okay, so what else? Should we get into the big monster bomb drop that happened on Thursday when we were in a meeting together?
That was good. Well, the one other good thing I want to say is that currently we and several groups are working towards getting reproductive rights, abortion on the ballot, and so that I think is a really good thing that's happening, and that hopefully, you know, we can make the million petitions by the date needed. And so that is something that is a little exciting, and you know, So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's
I mean,
huge.
it's a big deal. It's an effort to, by petition, to put abortion on the ballot, reproductive freedom, reproductive rights on the ballot, because we know, and there was a poll taken, which is one of the highest, I think at the meeting we heard it was one of the highest numbers they've ever seen. 78%, when they polled Floridians, 78% of Floridians support reproductive rights for women and anyone else with a uterus. Yep. They support reproductive rights, 78%. That's a high number.
It is a small group of people who make a lot of noise. That make it seem like women don't want this, and it's not true.
And that's crossing the aisle. That's not just Democrats.
Correct.
That's Republicans and it's independents. They say one thing, they go in the voting booth, they're going to vote something else. So we're trying to get it on the ballot so that Floridians can make it a law here.
Correct.
I have a question of what happens when it does pass. And Floridians support it and it passes as a law. What happens when it goes to Tallahassee? I'm curious about what can we expect?
And then how can he?
Or just how can the legislators? And how can the legislators rip it apart? Because they've done this before. And last Friday we had an amazing conversation with Tracy Merlin, who's a teacher here in Broward County and a gun control advocate. Common sense gun control, and I thought that was a great conversation too. Especially
a good conversation.
I mean, teachers in Florida, I'm sure teachers everywhere are experiencing the same sort of thing. So I was really excited for people to hear that.
It is wild. And so I wanted to say one thing about the whole petition, because I went yesterday to collect signatures and a couple encounters were interesting. And one in particular was a couple. And, I said, hi, are you in Broward County, la, 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 reproductive rights on the ballot. And this woman was like, absolutely, right? Signs it. And she was with this guy. And I was like, hey, would you like to? And he's like, nah, it affects her. She can sign it. And I was like, what? And, and that's not the time to get into an argument with, you're trying to collect petitions and, you know what I mean? But I was really just...
Did you have any other men that had that sort of reaction?
There were other men that were like, nah, no thanks, meh. Because it doesn't affect them.
It does affect them.
But it does affect them.
So that's what we need to think about. What can we say that's like, well, here's, if you're ever in the situation, wouldn't you want your loved one? You would help. Access? Yeah, your signature would help us get to the goal so that your loved one is never put in a position where they have to have there's a dangerous situation and she's got to leave the state or whatever. Don't you want that person to have access to this? That's the conversation. We need to say that.
And out of all the women, I only had one woman that was like, no.
That's fine.
And I was like, okay.
That's fine. But you know what?
So she was an old lady.
How many?
So it doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but it
total
kind of
petitions.
Doesn't matter.
Total petitions.
I don't know what the number was. I did 3 clipboards worth of petitions.
So let's say out of 30 people who signed, one woman was like, "Go fuck yourself." That seems like the 78% we're talking about. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to be like to do these, and so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to go to Pride next Saturday in Wilton Manors, and I'm going to walk around clipboard for God knows how many hours, and I'm going to have some drinks. And stare at really hot asses and G-strings.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Hi. Hopefully I have glitter all over my body.
Oh, glitter.
So, Trump.
Oh my God.
The first president in the United States history, which is shocking because there's so many that should be charged with fucking felonies, has been charged with 37 fucking federal felonies.
Indicted twice.
Insane.
In all of history, too. Indicted 2 times.
So, 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information and making false statements. This is all about the shit they found at Mar-a-Lago, right? Sensitive material. The special counsel accuses Trump of storing documents at various Mar-a-Lago locations, including, quote, in a ballroom, in a bathroom, a shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room, end quote. The charges counts include willful retention of information related to national defense, at least one false statements charge, and at least one charge related to obstruction, which is incredible. I got all that from NPR, but what an incredible thing.
The thing that is frightening about the indictments, though, are the number of elected officials, governors and other leaders who are coming out and kind of there was one elected official that was like, this is war, calling for violence.
Yeah. DeSantis
from an account that is your elected official account, calling for violence because Trump is indicted. And it blows my mind that it's the same song and dance, that it's Biden, and I put a little stupid story up that Biden's coming after me. It's like, no, the grand jury's made up of people, and those people said there's enough evidence here,
by the way,
to indict someone. It's not Biden going, I'm doing this. Like, people are so dumb. The law and order people who seem to know so much about the law know jack shit about the law. It's ridiculous.
It's also Southern District.
And they're gonna go off the goddamn cliff for this
they won't.
monster?
They won't. It's not. There's no wars gonna happen. Trump is nothing. Believe me. Nobody fucking gives a fuck anymore.
Hard.
This isn't January 6, 2021. It's now been over 2 years. Nobody gives a fuck. And if you are a fucking public servant in this government on any level, and you are supporting somebody who stole foreign documents, some of them that have, they're called Five Eyes, which means that the only 5 people who are allowed to look at it are people who are like the heads of like these 5 countries. That's it. Those were stored in a bathroom for public view. Like, anyone can get to it.
Walk in.
Anybody who works at Mar-a-Lago and cleans the bathrooms or whatever, anybody who can infiltrate there can have stolen. By the way, how do we know that hasn't happened? Well, how do we know that those documents haven't been taken photos of and taken off the premises?
Remember,
we don't know.
They saw those documents that are clearly photocopied, because like the way that they have the documents, there was stuff missing from it, and they could tell like it had been photocopied.
Oh my
so
God.
They have all this stuff, and that's the evidence that's proving that copies were made, and he's selling shit. If you guys don't think that he's selling stuff, you're stupid. All this man wants is money and power. You know, and he will sell everyone out because he can go to his golf courses around the world and live. He doesn't have to stay here.
Listen.
Sorry.
You know why we don't need to get upset like this? It is war. But they're the ones waging it. They're the ones waging war, not the people prosecuting Trump. They are traitors to this country. They are traitors. And the only reason they're coming out in support for him is they think that he can help them. He can't. And they will go down with the ship, just like everyone else who's been involved with Trump. And he will be in jail for this. No one is above the law. And if you, God forbid, steal state secrets, this is top secret level information. To think that this is what happens when you take someone who's never been in public service and was a reality show host and a crook, and you put him in the White House. Yeah. This is what you get. You get shenanigans. It is impossible. The reason why this country has been able to hold on to secrets for so long is because those people who have served in these positions understand the severity of those things getting out. We don't have to throw mud at people who are defending Trump. They're all going down. Even DeSantis is like, this is bogus charges. He's an idiot. He's another fucking idiot. He's another one who's out for himself. What they actually see is that they will also get in trouble. That's what they're seeing, is that they know they're up to shenanigans. The loudest voices right now, pay attention to them. The loudest voices defending Trump, because my hand to God,
far away from them.
Yeah, my hand to God, something's coming down the pike against them. It doesn't even have to do with Trump. It could be some other bullshit they're doing. We see it on the all the time. As soon as somebody's running their mouth, next thing you know, they're arrested for something. So fuck them. And by the way, it's a Southern District of Florida, and it might be in Miami. This was an indictment out of Miami, because the things were found here. So the jury might be either in Fort Lauderdale or Miami.
Oh God, they would be like. Do you have any bias?
No. We found this podcast. Podcast that
now I'm thrown off the jury.
Yeah. So another thing, here, don't shake the table, Tina. Don't shake the table. Sorry. Another thing is DeSantis again flew immigrants out of Texas to this time to California on the doorstep of, Gavin Newsom, who hey.
He would be a good candidate.
No shit. Anyway, now California is saying that, and DeSantis is finally taking credit for it, because he didn't for a little while, because he had a bunch of press for his campaign and didn't want to answer questions, kept avoiding the press. And he finally took credit for it. The legislature this year gave DeSantis $22 million tax dollars to fly immigrants from any state to anywhere he wants.
Can you imagine this?
$22 million. And it's going to a company that owns this jet that was a huge contributor to DeSantis. So all of the things that are happening are like
out of office.
Pay for play kind of bullshit. But they're considering charges, and I hope something sticks, because it's incredibly scary that he's continuing to do this.
And my favorite thing about all of this immigration issue, and I can't remember if we talked about it last week or not, but the fact that he's waging this war on immigrants, right? We got to protect the border and all of this stuff, and then they all vote on this bill and we did talk about that on the podcast, where workers have to show papers and all of this.
Yeah.
But now the GOP people who voted for his stupid bill are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like everything's falling apart because we need our immigrant workers, and now they're trying to like go, I didn't know what was in the bill. And it blows my mind that these are elected officials who are voting for things that they don't read.
Yep.
And they don't understand the ramifications of. That's the one job that you have, is to read a bill, and if you don't understand it, like, go talk to someone and understand it. Go talk to the people in your agricultural community, right? Because those are the people who are now like, oh my God, we don't have, like, we're losing workers. That means prices go up for Floridians. That means there's truck drivers that don't want to come in the state. And
even beyond the companies, they're saying this to the people who work in those fields.
Like, get out.
They were having huge community meetings in Miami, and I know Miami's like South Beach, whatever, but if you don't know, very large part of Miami, like West Miami and Homestead, are farms.
Yeah.
Like a huge area. Like, this is not, it's a huge part of Miami-Dade County. And these representatives, I got to tell you, I don't know what happens when they go to Tallahassee, but it's almost as if they put blinders on and they forget where they're from. And we've talked about this on the podcast. I tweeted this. I said, I don't know how many times when I retweeted the video of him, this one rep saying to a woman who she works in the fields, and she's like, I have to leave with my family. And he's like, please, it's just a scare tactic. It's not what it's meant. We're not going to enforce it, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's saying these things
we're not
because
enforce it.
he's really, because his job is now threatened, right? And I said, I can't wait till you motherfuckers go back to your district and actually have to be held accountable. Unless they don't do town halls, which I'm sure a lot of them are doing. They're not showing up and hearing from constituents because they know that they're fucking pissed, because they call your offices, they send you emails, you know that they're fucking angry, and you made a decision based on what people in Tallahassee told you had to do. Yep. And it's it's a big fucking play, right? Like, if you support this bill, which you have to because that's the party line, then we'll put your bill. They will kill your bills. They will take you off committees if you don't vote the way you're supposed to. That's what the party does.
Let it happen, though. Let it happen, because guess what? They got to fill those seats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If everybody took a freaking stand, then what?
Yeah. It's really insane. And this is affecting business, the business that I work for. Like, this is affecting businesses. Yep. This is a real issue. And we knew that it would be. And that one rep was trying to say, oh, it doesn't affect seasonal workers. You can still come back. Why would somebody want to come to Florida just for the season?
I know.
That's not, they're raising their children here. They're trying to have a home here. What the fuck are you doing?
You're killing our economy.
Good. I hope that you are understanding, finally, that what you're doing actually affects people. That's what the laws are doing. When you go to Tallahassee, like what Lindsay Pollard said at a meeting that we were at, their job in Tallahassee session is literally just to pass a budget. That's it. Just pass a budget, which is always the last thing that they ever do in a session. Like, the last 3 days, they'll pass a budget. The rest of the time that they're there and they're pulling all of these shenanigans and fucking with Disney and all this other bullshit, not helping people with homeowners insurance, all the other shit they're doing is just shenanigans. They're not supposed to be creating fucking one law after the other. They're just supposed to pass a budget. And everything they did for DeSantis is going to... Listen,
for a long time.
What they did, expanding the Don't Say Gay law, is what's killing DeSantis right now in national polls. Like, Republicans in other areas are like, he went too far.
Yep.
So I hope it does, and I'm glad. I want it to all come back. As much as we need Democrats to come out to vote, we need to elect Democrats. They are doing a great job helping us do that. So congratulations, you stupid fucks.
You're so disgusting.
Is that all you have? Because I have one last thing that's really sad, but we need to talk about it.
I have one thing that I was upset about, and it was the Broward's Women Emergency Fund put out about Publix.
Oh, right.
That Publix is making folks who are like in the middle of miscarriages wait for their medication, and they have to call and they have to jump through all these hoops, and it's not like, and it has nothing to do with the law. Like, this is where you get these fucking nutjob people who run corporations like our Publix.
Publix
and like
is a grocery store here.
It's a grocery store. What are we doing? And this is, I feel like we are constantly under attack as women. It doesn't stop.
Well, that's, being involved in this reproductive freedom group that we are involved with, which we'll talk more about when it becomes more of a visible thing, is that what the law isn't, when you have IVF and you talk about viability and what do they consider life, or you have a miscarriage, like this is going to affect every level of pregnancy and reproduction that you can imagine. It's not just about abortion. It is about a woman suffering in the middle of a miscarriage.
Right.
And the baby is dying. And this woman has to give birth to a baby that's going to live for 2 seconds. Or what is the viability of those eggs that are now, that are now fertilized, right?
And then even just like a regular miscarriage, like sometimes you need that DNC because like the clotting and there's other health issues that can come about that could maybe harm someone from getting pregnant again. Like there's all of these things that they're not thinking about for women. And DeSantis said the stupidest thing the other day about this, where he was talking about he said that Democrats are doing post-birth abortions.
Yeah.
What the hell is a post-birth abortion?
What?
Post-birth, you're born, so they're just throwing babies off the cliffs.
This is what they always do.
That's what they're doing?
They always do this. Oh, they did. They're taking their
birth
limb by limb. They're taking the baby apart.
It doesn't make sense.
It's ridiculous.
And nobody's doing that. No one is doing that.
Yeah.
This is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard.
There's no proof.
But post-birth abortion, that's an oxymoron.
It's murder. That is what is actual murder. What are we, suffocating the baby?
I know,
drowning the baby. Doing? What are you talking about?
What are you like?
And by the way, where? Show me where.
A post-birth abortion.
He's the biggest fucking liar on the planet.
Post-birth, that means the baby's born, you dipshit. Like, I don't...
No, he knows what he's saying. No, Tina.
I know.
He knows what he's saying.
Boggles my mind.
He's trying to give you an image of a
little
baby being born
baby,
and they're murdering the baby.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to say. And there's zero proof to it. Zero proof.
Yeah, when is this happening?
I don't know, but that reminds me of something else. Hold on a second. I got to pull up my screenshots.
God.
So this week, last Saturday, Tina, for the last podcast episode, we put out clips on Saturday and Sunday, video clips.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There was a clip of us talking about Pride and how excited we're for Pride. And these trolls came on Instagram faster than anything I've ever seen. And I took a screenshot. The clip was, how do you make someone gay? How do you even do that? Tina said that. So then these mansplainer bigots came onto there and started to. They literally thought we were asking the question.
Guess what? There's a thing called a rhetorical question.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Here's some of the quotes. Are you ready? You can brainwash anybody into anything if you make them believe it's normal from their earlier years. These people don't even care who funds this or their end game. What their end game is, doing the depopulationist jobs for free. Children, here's another one. Children are being taught, not adults. This podcast is so ignorant.
Oh my
Hold on, there's more. Let me see if I can find it. Simple, you talk about it and show it off to kids. Ladies and gentlemen, these are women with a platform. You got that right, motherfucker.
Hey, we didn't even know.
Here's another one. So this is the guy who's going to explain to us. Are you ready? So basically what you do is you take babies and kids to drag shows, groom them by saying there's more than 2 genders, and they can choose, which ultimately confuses them along with all the other influences who you bring in their life. Much like how they hate when we raise our kids to be religious. You can raise them into thinking they are gay. There's another one that says low IQ. Here's another one. I just got off the phone with y'all's channel. If you watch it, you can turn you gay.
Oh.
So that's wonderful English.
Our channel making people gay?
Pass the pussy, baby. That's the word I was trying not to say 2 weeks ago because my mom listens.
Oh my God.
I hope we make everyone gay. Listen up. So then I put a clip out this week, and it was talking about, it was because when I was watching the podcast, the one from last week, you fucking went off, and as soon as I was about to say something, and you go, these motherfuckers. And I was like, oh, you hear me go, oh. And Cena just goes off for like a full minute. It was beautiful. And I'm like, I'm cutting this and putting this out. And it brought so many more trolls because they searched the hashtag pride.
They have to.
They do. And then they troll, which is gay, by the way. That's what's gay. That's what I wanted to say. You're gay for looking like following the hashtag pride.
Oh my
You're
God.
gay. Like, what are you? They're looking for dick.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you're looking for. It's always men. They're always these. They always have like two posts and like an American flag or like whatever.
Or
they're,
like Patriot.
their shoulders are 10 times the size of their heads. Like, they're fucking losers.
Ball.
Yeah.
So
this time I was like, fuck you, I'm leaving all the comments up. I don't give a fuck. Let people see how fucking stupid they are. Because let me tell you, that's where this lies. I mean, give me a fucking break.
So funny.
And happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
So the last thing I wanted to say, unless you have something else.
No.
So a mother was killed in Ocala, Florida this week or last week. Her name was AJ Owens, and she's a black woman, a black mother. She has 4 children, and she lived in this neighborhood, Ocala. It's northern Florida.
I feel like it's redneck.
You know,
though.
it's very rednecky. I don't want to say it's full of white supremacists. I'm sure there's very nice people there. I guess. I mean, I don't know, except that it's like I go to Ocala to go on the river, right? Like I go there to go to the springs. Like that's where you go to Ocala, which is a beautiful area. But you know, she was living in this neighborhood. She had gotten into it a few times with this white woman neighbor, and her kids would play in this little field next to this woman's house, and they were playing out there, and the woman started yelling at them, calling them the N-word, calling them slaves, and her little boy left his iPad because he ran. You know, they run from this woman. Clearly, I mean, I'd be scared too. Yeah. And he left his iPad. So the white woman went out to the field and took the iPad back to her house. So the kids go home and they tell their mother, AJ Owens, like, the woman who was yelling these horrible things at us, and it's 2020 fucking 3. I can't even. And so she goes to the woman's house to get the iPad, and she knocked on the door, and the woman shot her through the door.
In the chest.
And killed her. This beautiful mother, her youngest was 3 years old.
This is a mother.
It is fucking insane that this is happening.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until it was amplified and it started to get traction that they finally arrested her. They had not arrested her. And she was trying to claim stand your ground.
Yeah.
That doesn't work with the door shut. Well, dumb bitch.
They released the 911 call on it, and you know the white tears were flowing.
Oh yeah,
where she's like, someone's coming to my door, and I just shot through because I was so scared for my life. So she's like, you know, she already knows what to say. She already knows what to say, and I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. And she's some old white lady.
Yeah, it's not going. She's going to jail.
Cry in court and try to find a way out of it. And I swear to God. She needs to go to jail. I don't care how old she is.
She's not getting out of this.
She is a murderer,
There's no
racist bigot.
Yeah. And
this is woman, a mother, a young mother, who wants you're taking people's property.
By the way, can't kids play anymore? Kids can't go out and fucking play without someone yelling the N-word at them? Are you out of your mind?
I can't tell you how I would love to see kids outside playing.
You
never see kids outside. You never see kids outside.
These children are going to go the rest of their lives without their mother. Without their mother.
Those babies. Those poor babies.
Goddamn motherfuckers.
It's disgusting.
Well, she deserves justice, and I hope she gets it. And I don't think anybody's going to rest until she does. So I don't see this going away. Even in Ocala, I don't see it going away. There's no fucking way.
I can't wait to hear this story.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm closing my laptop and getting into it, girl.
So I was watching. Did you see the name?
No.
Okay. I was watching this documentary on Amazon called Happy People. It's about the Duggar family. Duggar family.
Is that like the
19 kids and counting?
Oh, okay, yeah. And the guy's like a pedophile.
The older brother. But they're in this religion that's called Independent Fundamentalist Baptists. So it's all about having babies, you know, overpopulating the earth with our... But the religion is also very patriarchal, where the man is in charge, and the women are, you know, they're less than educated. They homeschool their kids. A lot of this homeschooling that is involved in the community started way back when they started to integrate schools. And so they're like, not my kids. And so this fundamentalist thing start from there too.
And this is like Adam and Eve and the dinosaurs.
Yes, yes. Everything you can imagine. The women, they have to cover themselves completely.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Anything is
I've never seen the show. Like, do they dress like
they
Amish
don't,
people?
but they're completely covered. You can't show anything like this. Like my like little part of my skin here would be, that's drawing the man's eye, and it would be my fault if he raped me. So, women get raped and abused in this society, and it's their fault.
So they can wear clothes, but it would be like a t-shirt like this, but long sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're wearing regular clothes, not like...
Yes.
They're not like making Amish.
Yeah.
I'm no disrespect
it's
to the Amish,
cult.
but like...
No, it's a fucking cult, this group. So the men are kings, women are slaves.
Why
and this
are we
just
watching this on TV?
And when you have they don't really, they show the show as these kids are all well behaved. I've never watched the show except watching clips on this Happy People documentary. But it breeds abuse. Like they teach you to beat your children so that they're submissive and they don't talk back and they behave themselves. Like a lot of the people they interviewed in the documentary were like, when you watch that show, like when they watched it, they know what it takes to get the kids to be that submissive and that quiet. And, you just beat them over and over again.
God. And wait, you said it's 19 kids.
They had 19 kids.
Jesus, that's
so and then of course the older son.
Oh my God, this body.
The older son was arrested for, he was never arrested for abusing his sisters, but he did. He sexually abused his sisters when they were children, and they brought him to the police, but he wasn't charged because the sheriff was friends with the dad, and so they just kind of shook their finger at him and walked away. And then it came out years later when the show came, like when the show was super popular, they were everywhere, and then years later this thing comes out. It's fucked up. And some of the sisters have left, and one of them is interviewed in this documentary, and it's incredible. Oh my God. But like how the father, they were paid a ton of money for the show, and they saw nothing. They saw nothing. Some of these daughters had like their weddings were like the highest rated weddings and birth. And she's like, I don't want the cameras in here. I don't want the camera. When I'm giving birth, they're like, okay, we'll just take a couple shots. They were there the entire fucking time. She got paid nothing for it. Fucked up.
But she's out.
She's out.
Thank
and she's
God.
talking.
I mean,
and
that
she's
alone, like,
vocal
fuck the
about
money,
it.
you know what I mean?
I know. But when you have
we've been exploited.
Groups, when you have cults and groups like this where the men are in charge like that, it just breeds abuse on every fucking level. Even the guy who was in charge of the whole religion, he was charged with sexual assault, abusing girls, like young girls. Like it's so fucked up.
Oh, I didn't realize that there was
it's a religion. It's this.
I thought they were just like.
No, it's terrible. So the reason I'm doing this person is because he's mentioned in the documentary that there is this thing they called Generation Joshua, and it was to raise Christian leaders to be the next leaders of the world. And the point was to infiltrate all levels of government, police, everything, to get themselves in these positions of power. And this person was like, as of today, is the highest level person they've gotten. Okay, I mean, they've had house leaders, they've had state leaders, but never as high as this person. So to find out that he was involved, I was shocked. But also, it makes sense that he was raised this way. He was like all the things that I'm going to say. When you hear the things that he did, it's like, oh, that's right. He thinks he can do whatever he wants because he was raised in this environment where men are kings and they don't get in trouble. They literally don't get in trouble.
Who it could be.
Okay, you're going to...
like, the only thing I could think of is Pence.
No.
But because he's part of some cuckoo. Or
no,
is he just
this guy's much younger. Because this is a newer...
Oh, I think I know.
Who?
Not Madison.
Yeah!
Is it? Oh my God!
I'm covering Madison Cawthorn.
Oh my God.
Which, by the way, I thought I knew some things about the guy. I mean, he was on my radar, but not
I know he's
in the
completely
way...
insane.
I don't know... Again... when we go through this, it's incredible the amount of things that are in here that I had no idea, but I guess I just really didn't pay. I knew he was a loudmouth, right winger, but I didn't realize what a liar he is. Like, he just doesn't tell the truth ever, and he thinks he can get away with it, which also in this day and age, how do you think you can get away with it? Everything is, you can look up and see that it's not true, and so... It boggles my mind, but he's also like under that Trump era kind of fucking bullshit. So Anyway.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
This was U.S. House
how
Rep.
is he involved?
He was raised in this fundamentalist Baptist. He was in Generation Joshua, who...
Wow.
Yeah, so let's go. So...
This is the group that you guys should be after, not the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So his name is David Madison Cawthorn, and he was born August 1st, 1995, which is incredibly fucking depressing.
Jesus.
In Asheville.
What?
In Asheville, North Carolina.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Have you been to
damn
Asheville?
No,
Oh,
but
we
God,
gotta go. You love Asheville.
I'm a mess from this
I know.
the late 1900s baby over here.
Oh, my son said something to me. He's like, yeah, the music in the late 1900s, I said, fuck you. I literally, I didn't know if I said fuck you. In my head, I said fuck you, but I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
The what? I graduated high school in 1996. Oh my God. Okay.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
He was homeschooled in Hendersonville, North Carolina through 12th grade and played football with the Asheville Saints, which was a league that included other high school homeschool students. As a teenager, he worked at Chick-fil-A, which I thought was just a fun little...
Oh, of course you did.
Serving up the fries with a side of homophobia.
You did.
So,
wow.
I know.
Wow.
Okay, so in 2014, at age 18, Cawthorn was seriously injured while returning home from a spring break trip in Florida. He was riding as a passenger in a BMW X3 SUV near Daytona Beach, Florida, when his friend Bradley Ledford fell asleep at the wheel, and the vehicle crashed into a concrete barrier while Cawthorn's feet were on the dashboard.
Oh.
That's always a fear of mine, when my feet are on the dashboard.
Well, I tell my kids all the time, do not put your feet up on the dashboard.
God.
You never know.
Yeah. In a 2017 speech, he said that Ledford left him to, quote, die in a fiery tomb, end quote, which Ledford has disputed. Ledford said in a sworn deposition for insurance litigation about this accident that he pulled an unconscious Cawthorn from the wrecked vehicle immediately after getting himself out. And Cawthorn's deposition, he stated that he, quote, had no memory of the accident. So here is the first sort of like...
He's the victim.
Yeah, here's the first
he is
sort
the victim of this accident.
Yeah.
But you got to amp it up.
But this is a pattern we will see throughout the story of like saying something and then why?
So
he wants to make things sound worse or to better himself look sad or whatever for his own benefit.
So is he paralyzed like waist down?
Yes.
Or did he just like damage his legs? So he's like actually paralyzed from that?
Partially paralyzed. In the 2017 speech, Cawthorn stated that he was, quote, declared dead on the scene of the accident, but the official accident report listed him as incapacitated. So he wasn't dead. He was like unconscious.
Yeah.
The injuries from the accident left Cawthorn partially paralyzed, requiring the use of a wheelchair. He said he accrued $3 million in medical debt during his recovery. He received that amount as a settlement from an insurance company, as well as other payments. And as of February 2021, he was seeking $30 million more. Maybe he's owed that. I have no idea. He's owed something, I'm sure. His House Rep at the time, Mark Meadows, who we will talk about, has nominated Cawthorn to the United States Naval Academy in December 2013, but his application was rejected. Although this happened before his injury, he claimed in advertisements for his 2020 congressional campaign that the accident derailed his plans to attend the academy.
Wow.
But he had already been rejected.
So
Then Cawthorn had acknowledged in 2017 under oath that he had been turned down before the accident. So it's like he's just always fucking lying.
Why are we electing liars?
He's
Why are we
always
electing
lying.
liars? And this is the common theme with MAGA.
Yeah.
It's lie on top of lie on top of lie
Yeah.
on top of lie. Blatant lies that you guys eat up. Well, I was going to say with a spoon, but maybe with your fingers.
Go to our merch store and buy a t-shirt. So, when asked about the discrepancy, he said, quote, I never said I was appointed or accepted to the Academy. I knew that I'd only been nominated at that point. I fully expected to be accepted and to be appointed, but at that point, I hadn't received it, end quote. During the fall 2016 semester, Cawthorn attended Patrick Henry College studying political science, but earned mostly D grades and dropped out.
Oh, well.
He said his grades were low primarily because his injuries had interfered with his ability to learn I'm sure that's what it is.
I mean, I would imagine that it would be very stressful. You're in a wheelchair.
Yeah, that just happened on spring break.
Yeah, it's a lot to do.
Cawthorn said in a deposition, quote, suffering from a brain injury after the accident definitely, I think it slowed my brain down a little bit, made me less intelligent, and the pain also made reading and studying very difficult, end quote. I'm sure that's the case.
Yes.
So, politics. From January 2015 to August 2016, Cawthorn worked as a staff assistant in U.S. Representative Mark Meadows' district office. Now, that name should sound very, very familiar. He was a Tea Party Republican, so he was instrumental in shutting down the government when John Boehner was the Speaker of the House under Obama.
Crybaby Boehner.
And more importantly, he was a close ally of Trump. And Trump picked him to be his chief of staff at the end of his presidency. And remember, Trump had all those chiefs of staff.
Like so many.
But this guy wanted that job so badly, and he finally was picked. But when he's in office, Trump loses his reelection. And Meadows, through our January 6th insurrection hearings, if y'all listen to those carefully, Meadows was in the White House. And he was part of the group involved in, can we overthrow this election? Can we overturn the 2020 election? And was not telling Trump, you lost.
Right.
And was telling him, some of the votes could be fraud. This guy was one of the guys who did not tell him the truth.
Yeah, he's in his ear.
And was part of it.
Causing problems.
Yeah, and as chief of staff, you need to be honest and say, here's what the outlay of the land is. There's no chance you're going to win this. You lost. No. He continued to push.
And again.
Which led to the January 6th insurrection. That led to that.
Again, we have these patriots, right? You're not a patriot if you want to overthrow the government. You're not a patriot if you don't do the transfer of power.
Right.
That's not being a patriot.
One of the most important things.
That's not being a patriot.
One of the most beautiful things of our country is the peaceful transfer of power. And these fucking pricks are sitting up there thinking, honestly, to be the chief of staff for the White House, the current president, that's got to be a very powerful position to be in. And this motherfucker took advantage of it and
to destroy our country.
Did the wrong thing. And should be in jail. Cawthorn told the Asheville Citizen Times that he worked there full-time, but it was a part-time position. I mean, he's just fucking constantly lying. Cawthorn is the owner and CEO of SPQR Holdings, LLC, a real estate investment firm in Hendersonville. The firm was started in August 2019 and reported no income. Cawthorn is its sole employee. As of August 2020, it's like a shell company. It's just to be like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Nothing. August of 2020, the company had been involved in only one real estate transaction, purchasing a 6-acre property for $20,000 in a foreclosure auction. This is his full-time job, being a MAGA Spitfire bullshit, right?
But how do you make money doing that?
You don't. He's probably living off his parents.
And this he got that the $3 million?
Yeah, but that paid his medical bills.
Oh.
Okay, so in the March 2020 Republican primary for North Carolina's 11th congressional district, Cawthorn finished second behind Linda Bennett, who had been endorsed by both President Trump and Mark Meadows. So it's Mark Meadows' seat he's trying to run for. But Bennett did not receive the required 30% of the vote to avoid a runoff, and Cawthorn ended up winning the June runoff overwhelmingly. And he was supported by local people, so it was considered an upset that he won the seat. Nobody was supporting him because think about what's happening. He's saying all these things, and the newspaper's but this didn't happen. He's not the person they wanted to be there.
Well, but
so now he's going to take advantage of it. Yeah.
People voted for him. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
That people vote and they don't vet a candidate.
And this is March 2020, so we're in the middle towards the end. It's in COVID, but we're also in the middle towards the end of the presidential election.
Yeah.
And he was telling people that she was a never Trumper, which wasn't true. And at the time, Trump was, Trump people supported Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw that on January 6th, almost a year after this, that they did this for him. So, so in July 2020, at an event at the Texas border, Cawthorn declared without evidence that there was, quote, a large group of cartels kidnapping our American children and then taking them to sell them on a slave market, a sex slave market, end quote. Just spouting bullshit. During the 2020 general campaign, a 2017 Cawthorn Instagram post with a picture of his visit to Adolf Hitler's vacation residence, Eagle's Nest, which he said had been, quote, on his bucket list for a while, end quote, generated criticism and allegations of far-right that he was a sympathizer to the far-right.
Well, I mean, why is he there?
Yeah. But by the way, I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of him. We'll put it in our notes, but like Google him right now as you're listening to this. He's incredibly good looking, which is another thing that I think happens to humans. When you have somebody who's incredibly like, whatever, when I say good looking, I mean like surfer model, you know, California dreamy, like chiseled draw, blonde hair, beautiful eyes. Like he's an incredibly attractive man. So it's odd when there's so much shit coming out of someone like that's mouth. It's confusing. It's confusing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
or maybe people look at him and they're like, oh wow, look at this guy.
They're mesmerized, I think. But you know, also he's into Hitler. So I don't know. Maybe not a good thing. No. So he had referred to Hitler as the Führer. Hitler's official title, and but he also called Hitler a supreme evil. So, like, why would you go? Like, I don't know if I'd go to a concentration camp. I don't think if I went to Germany, I'd want to visit.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, they have the
like memorials.
What is the march that there's a thing that like kids go on every year where they start off and they walk through all of it's for like Jewish kids. Yeah. And they walk through all the concentration camps and then they end their trip in Israel and it's like very uplifting. Wow. It's like a very beautiful trip, and I've known many students who have gone on that trip and it's changed their lives. Wow. So I think I think if you're Jewish or even if you're not Jewish, to kind of be in that space and like the reality of what happened there, and I think that's important. Yeah. You know? But to go to his vacation home, to be like, wow, he was really living it up. Yeah. No.
Eagle's nest.
No. The Eagle's nest. And what a dick. The Eagle's nest. My God, these dictators.
Another closeted
these
homo.
Dictators, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's another closeted, like, homophobe. You know what I mean? That's what he is. He's a closeted homophobe Hitler. Right? I mean, isn't that what the deal was?
Yes.
I mean, come on. So, in response, Cawthorn denied being a white supremacist, calling the allegations ridiculous, and he said, quote, completely and wholeheartedly denounce any kind of white nationalism and any kind of Nazism, end quote. The Anti-Defamation League's analyst, Mark Pitcabbage, said he did not see much merit in the accusations against Cawthorn. I guess just because there's just one post. Right. Some Jewish residents of the congressional district expressed concern about the incident, including Esther Mannheimer, who's mayor of Asheville, the largest city in his district. Yeah. And then he, of course, deletes the post.
We gotta take screenshots and screenshots and screenshots as soon as we see stuff that like these nut jobs are doing before they take shit down.
Yeah. During his election bid, Cawthorn's campaign created a website to criticize journalist Tom Fiedler, who had produced investigative pieces on Cawthorn and had written favorably about his opponent, that Linda woman. And the website accused Fiedler. So then Cawthorn puts up a post about this guy, the investigative journalist, and says that he's accused Fiedler of leaving academia to, quote, work for non-white males like Cory Booker, who aims to ruin white males running for office, end quote.
Wait, so tell us again how you're not racist.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the side there, bruh.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah.
Did he send that out from the Eagle's nest?
So then they changed it later on the website, and it said that he modified the claim that Fiedler is, quote, an unapologetic defender of left-wing identity politics.
Oh. I love language.
Yeah. Cawthorn released a statement saying he had intended to condemn such political opinion as being dangerous and divisive, and said he had condemned racism and identity politics throughout his campaign. So in the November general election, Cawthorn defeated Democratic nominee Mo Davis, and he took office on January 3rd, 2021. Upon hearing he had won, he tweeted, quote, cry more, libs, end quote.
Wow. I mean, way to reach out to all of your constituents. Thanks.
I mean, Asheville, hippie lib central.
Yeah. Where were they? Yeah. Where are you, hippies? You know, where are you? Go play some dead and go stand in line and vote.
I'm gonna write that down as a possible title because it's so fucking funny. It makes me laugh so hard. Cawthorn, by the way, we do cry too much as liberals. We do. It's
the
time
world
to like
burning down.
Wipe our tears and put up your fucking fists. Let's go. Like it's time to fight. Like we can grieve for what we have lost, but it's time to fight to get it the fuck back.
We gotta keep going.
So he's not wrong. So it's funny. I mean, it's funny. So Cawthorn is the youngest Republican and one of the youngest members ever elected to the House of Representatives. He was 25 years old.
Wait, did he ever finish college?
No. He's also the first member of Congress born in the 1990s. So right after this, he's immediately onto his bullshit. Like immediately after getting elected, he's, starts his career off with just absolute shenanigans. He goes from being elected in November to going to the Turning Point USA conference in Florida in December 2020. And you remember that because they had all those they had Nazi flags and DeSantis flags all over the place, right?
And then that was all sort of like, oh no.
Yeah, I don't like DeSantis. Like actually he's never denounced any of that. He hasn't.
No.
So Cawthorn, he was a speaker at the event, and he said that he would try to contest the 2020 presidential election results when Congress counted the Electoral College votes in January, which we all know happened. He said he was citing fraud and that there was no evidence that fraud, but we know that there was no evidence there was fraud at all. He subsequently used theories about fraud to run advertisements and raise money for himself.
These Republicans are so good at raising money for themselves.
It's just
and
the best.
Using the money.
But also, people are so dumb. They're so dumb. Why are you giving him money based on what? No evidence. Fucking get your shit together.
These. Well, they're waiting for JFK Jr. to come along and. Save the day. And
JFK Jr. is so fucking hot.
I don't understand.
Obsessed with him.
But I don't understand this whole JFK Jr. is coming back and he's alive and he's gonna be a MAGA. Like, my brain doesn't understand. I don't want to
because you're not mental.
I don't want to understand.
Are we digging him up from the grave? I bet he looks so hot right now.
He's probably still hot.
Oh God. Fuck that corpse. Don't edit that out. Hi. I actually was just having a conversation with somebody I knew. I used to subscribe to the magazine George.
Oh God!
When he had that magazine, and I had the first cover where Cindy Crawford was dressed as George Washington.
Yes,
hot.
And then they changed it to. They changed the name.
I was in high school. That's what a fucking nerd I was. Do you understand what a nerd I was subscribing to George magazine in high school?
Wow.
Oh my God, what a nerd. Anyway, he called on the Turning Point event attendees to, quote, lightly threaten their representatives regarding the election being overturned. Yeah.
That's nice.
So January 6th. Before Trump supporters stormed the United States Capitol on January 6th, Cawthorn addressed the crowd and said, quote, this crowd has some fight. He voted not to certify the Electoral College results in Congress and called Republicans who voted to certify the results spineless cowards.
How about you're a treasonist? How about that?
He repeated the false conspiracy theories that there was widespread fraud in the election. And then after the riots, right? So he does all this on the floor. He says, oh, you guys look like you want to fight. He goes out there and says, you're all spineless cowards. But then the insurrection happens, and God knows he's in that wheelchair. How the fuck, where was he hiding? Where did he go, right? And after the riots, Cawthorn denounced the violence and said, quote, the party as a whole should have been much more wise about their choice of words, end quote.
That's you! Yeah. That's you!
This is what I mean about this guy. This is what I mean about him. It's so frustrating.
Wow.
He is one of the most frustrating people I've ever
He talks
covered.
out of both sides of his mouth.
He later attempted to blame the riots on, quote, a democratic machine of agitators strategically placed inside of this group, end quote.
Oh, wait, they put their hand up your back.
Yeah, it's Antifa.
They put their hand up your back and made you say the words you said.
Yeah.
That's what happened?
And he said all this amid intensifying calls for his resignation for his part in stoking the riots. Because remember, a lot of his district is libs who cry, and they're like, you need to get the fuck out of here now, right? On January 20th, the day of Joe Biden's inauguration, Cawthorn was one of 17 newly elected House Republicans to sign a letter congratulating him and expressing hope of bipartisan cooperation.
What a tool. What a tool. Get out of here.
Remember me? Ooh, I'm innocent.
Please be my friend.
I'm an innocent baby. Oh, God.
These guys are such dorks.
That's exactly what it is. He's a fucking dork. On January 22nd, 2021, the government watchdog group Campaign for Accountability asked the Office of Congressional Ethics to investigate Cawthorn's role in the January 6th Capitol riot, which they did for most of those guys. On January 23rd on CNN Newsroom, Pamela Brown asked Cawthorn about his views on the election results, to which Cawthorn eventually responded that there was no voter fraud. He said, quote, the Constitution allowed for us to be able to push back as much as we could, and I did not, and I did that to the amount of the constitutional limits that I had at my disposal. So now I would say that Joseph R. Biden is our president. End quote. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on board.
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
You are a jerk.
So a little bit about when he was in office, because the scandals are so much better, but he said that he intended to use his position to be a messenger rather than a legislator, writing to his colleagues, quote, I have built my staff around comms rather than legislation, end quote. Which I have to say that if my House rep, my US House rep said that, I'd be like, why are you there? You're not going to make legislation or to better your district or fight for your district. You're just here to be a MAGA, bullhorn.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of office then. Get out. So he basically, after this, closed all of his district offices except one.
What?
Which, by the way, is very difficult because if you have a larger district, people can't get to it.
Right.
And you are supposed to be available, have staff there available to your districts. I mean, you're not, that's why he only kept one open. So I don't really, if you've heard me describe him and what he's like, you can imagine where he stands on issues. He's clearly anti-abortion, but he's for gay marriage, but not for supporting the trans community. He's very bizarre.
This whole thing of excluding trans people is and trying to pretend like you support the LGBTQ community. It's bullshit.
So here's the other thing that's weird. So he says that, but then he voted against codifying same-sex marriage when he was in office, but he says he's for it. That bothers me. He also supports removing Confederate statues because they commemorate succession from the United States, though in June 2021, he voted against the bill that would remove the statues of white supremacist Confederates from the United States Capitol.
Right.
So you see what I'm saying?
He's just giving lip service to
wherever he is.
And he knows what's going to make him look okay, and he can say, no, this is what I said.
Yeah.
The voting record is what speaks for you.
That's what matters. But at the end of the day, all the time, that's what matters. And so let's get into his scandals. So sexual misconduct allegations. In August 2020, so when he's running for office, during his campaign for Congress, several women accused him of sexually aggressive behavior, sexual misconduct, and sexual assault. Katrina Krulikis described an incident when she was 17 and Cawthorn was 19, in which he pressured her to sit on his lap and attempted to kiss her forcibly, which she resisted. Cawthorn did not deny the allegations, but said, quote, I did try and kiss her, just very normal, just in a flirtatious way, end quote, adding, quote, if I did make her feel unsafe, I feel bad. But he questioned the timing of her allegations, which is always a thing.
Here we go.
He's saying it was politically motivated because this now comes out during his campaign.
How about she's like, holy shit, this fucking sexual assaulter is running for office. I better save women. How about that?
That's right. And after she made her allegations, 3 other women made allegations of sexual misconduct against Cawthorn, including forcible grabbing and kissing. One woman said Cawthorn called her, quote, just a little blonde, slutty American girl, end quote, when she rejected his sexual advances.
Okay.
Right.
Well, now we see.
Because that's what happens. If you fuck me, then you're not a slut. But if you reject me, you're a slut.
Right. And then after you fuck her, she's
going to
be a slut again.
But by the way, this is so much that religion he was raised in. Doing whatever you want to women, and it's their fault. If they get it, it's their fault. If they don't, it's always the woman's fault.
That's so gross.
On October 17th, 2020, a group of Patrick Henry College alumni released a public letter accusing Cawthorn of sexually predatory behavior while he was a student there for little more than 1 semester, as well as vandalism and lying. The letter originally had 10 signatures, but the number increased to over 150 alumni in less than a week. Cawthorn claimed that most of the signers did not know him personally, and his campaign posted a response letter of support for him signed by 6 alumni, 2 of whom work for his campaign. Cawthorn's response letter implied support by former Patrick Henry College President Michael Ferris. Ferris disavowed the support letter and asked that he not be associated with this. February 2021, BuzzFeed News investigation found 20 people who said that Cawthorn had harassed his female classmates during college. The reporter spoke to 4 women who said he had harassed them. It was alleged that Cawthorn often recklessly drove women in his car to remote areas off campus while asking them sexual questions. He reportedly called them the journeys fun drives. 2 resident assistants said they warned women to avoid Cawthorn and not to ride in the car, which is something we've heard before.
God, this is
right?
Scary.
He's there for like maybe a semester, and he's got this reputation.
Imagine if he stayed.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Where people are saying, "Stay away from that guy."
Oh my God. I mean, it's 1 semester, so you have to do a lot to get on people's radar.
That's what I mean.
In your first few weeks of school,
That's what I
people
mean.
are like, "Who is this guy?"
It's fucked up. A male acquaintance said Cawthorn bragged about pulling a woman into his lap and putting a finger between her legs. So then after he's elected, he's now running for re-election for the House in May of 2022. This video starts circulating online, which I don't know if you remember, but it shows Cawthorn naked in bed, thrusting his genitals towards another man's face while moaning. Like, naked. Remember this video? It's weird. It's like really weird. The guy's laying on the bed and Cawthorn is just like quickly climbing on top and putting his dick in the guy's face. It's fucking weird. And he's naked. Cawthorn said of the video, quote, "Years ago in this video, I was being crass with a friend, trying to be funny. We were acting foolish and joking. That's it," end quote. Now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have a lot of men friends. Maybe some of our listeners who are men can comment. Have you ever gotten naked and tried to be funny and shove your dick in your friend's face? Like, I can understand, like, you pantsing a guy, right? Or something or whatever. But, like, being naked with your friend and that doesn't sound, you know what I mean? It's a little too, and who's videotaping this? Like, I don't know.
What is going on?
He called the video blackmail on Twitter after he had released an 8-minute video addressing it and other controversies. So another thing he likes to do is bring guns to the airport. In February 2021, Transportation Security Administration agents at the Asheville Regional Airport discovered an unloaded Glock 9mm handgun and loaded magazine in Cawthorn's carry-on bag. Now, you know you can't carry that on a plane, you dummy. What the fuck? This is like, I can do whatever I want kind of bullshit. A spokesman for Cawthorn said the gun, magazine, and ammunition were meant to have been stowed in his checked luggage. Now, I'm sorry. Maybe you forget, like, did I put my toothbrush in here? Did I put it in my check bag?
I got my medicine.
A gun? You don't know? No. You don't know? In April 2022, Cawthorn was briefly detained at an airport in Charlotte, North Carolina for attempting to board a commercial flight with a loaded handgun in his carry-on. This is the following year. He did it again. Police said
What is his story? What is his deal? What's he trying to do?
I don't know. Police said he was cooperative and he was cited for possession of a dangerous weapon on city property.
You know what, though? If it was me, what would my charges be?
Yeah. He pled guilty. He had to pay a $250 fine. That's it. And by the way, because he's good looking and white, he's not a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
Because that would be a totally different thing.
If it was anybody else. If it was anyone else.
So driving offenses. This is something that bothers me, okay? If you are an elected official in any capacity, I don't care if you're a mayor, your city council, your governor, whatever, when you do shit like this, it's always above the law, right? You think you can do whatever you want, like with the guns. The same thing with driving. If you're speeding or parking wherever you want, you see these elected officials, even here locally, get pulled over and they're like, "Do you know who I am?" I don't give a fuck who you are.
You broke the law.
You're not allowed to do whatever you want driving a car. You can't do it. You know? Andrew Gillum had a lot of driving offenses, by the way, in Tallahassee while he was mayor, because he thought he could do whatever he wants to. Did you know that?
Did you ever get out of a driving ticket?
I was pulled over in my neighborhood for like slowly going through a stop sign when I was coming home for lunch one time, and there was a cop sitting there I didn't know, and he walked up to the car. He's like, "Did you know you just went through that stop sign?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on my way home for lunch." I said, "There was nobody in the intersection." It's not like I drove right through. I kind of just slowly stopped. And he's like, "All right, keep going." That was it. But every other time I've gotten a ticket.
I used to.
Oh, Tina, shame on you.
I used to smile my way out of a ticket.
Oh, no.
Really?
Girl.
And they would go, "All right."
Well, maybe that's the one way we can use things to our advantage. But look at you and look at me. No one's getting me out of a ticket.
Oh, please. This was many moons ago, people.
I love when
it would
she says
not
that.
work today.
Many moons ago is my favorite thing that Tina says. Okay.
Oh my God.
In March 2022, Cawthorn was charged with driving while his license was revoked and while 2 speeding tickets were pending.
Wait, why was his license revoked? Like
because of these speeding tickets that he wasn't taking care of. Yes.
Wow.
And he faces possible jail time for this still. Like a 2017 charge.
Pay your ticket.
Yeah. He had a 2017 charge of driving on a revoked license that was dismissed. He had court dates in Polk and Cleveland counties in June 2022 for speeding and driving with a revoked license. Like, this is out of control. This is out of control. Too much.
Maybe
all these different counties are pulling him over.
Yeah,
You get 1 speeding ticket. Like, for 2 years, I'm driving like this. Oh God, I don't want to get another ticket.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck are you doing? He's just a behind the wheel madman.
I mean, I don't know how it is. I haven't gotten a speeding ticket in a long time, but you have to sit through those stupid videos and the classes to get out of the points, or I don't know if they even do that anymore. But there has to be something here psychologically that this somehow.
Yeah,
gives him power, control, maybe has something to do with the accident. You know
right, that's what I was thinking too.
There's got to be something going on here where, like, this is where he's, like, you know, can...
Yes.
I don't know.
So, in April 2022, Senator Tom Tillis called for an investigation for insider trading into Cawthorn for possible violations of the Stock Act, stating that Cawthorn's purchase of an anti-Biden Let's Go Brandon cryptocurrency... without disclosure, may have violated insider trading rules for members of Congress.
Wait, there's a Let's Go Brandon
cryptocurrency.
I don't understand crypto.
That's a level. But that's a level. That's a level of nerd. Mean? That's a level of like MAGA nerd. I've never.
What does that mean?
That's his thing.
Brandon crypto. Like, I don't understand. Like, what is that?
I don't know.
What do you do with that? What do you buy with that?
By the way,
hats, MAGA
this is
trucks,
why.
MAGA
This
shirts.
is why you should do legislation, because you're too busy with nonsense. If you were actually busy working for your constituents, not closing offices and whatever, like maybe actually trying to do work instead of being like a bullhorn, you wouldn't have time to get involved with cryptocurrency and possibly get in trouble for it. You fucking dope.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Dope. This is why you don't elect 25-year-olds to office.
I mean, like, but this is on like the public record. Like, that you got in trouble for Let's Go Brandon cryptocurrency.
Let's go, Brandon. By the way, Dark Brandon is my favorite. I told you. Yes. I love fucking Dark Brandon.
Dark Brandon.
He took that shit. He took it and ran. The laser eyes. I fucking love every minute of it.
Good for him. Yeah. Good for him.
Biden.
I'm Team Biden.
Oh, God. We know. Shut up. We know.
Team
fucking
Biden. Woo! I need my crypto.
Yeah.
Team Biden crypto.
Hi. Would you like to buy some Let's Go Dark Brandon cryptocurrency? It's like, oh, it's a scam. I just gave this girl $1,000. It's a scam. Ridiculous. By December 2022, it was reported that Cawthorn had violated the Stock Act a total of 3 times that year by failing to disclose further tens of thousands of dollars in sales of his Let's Go Brandon coin.
Wait.
You dummies.
Let's Go Brandon coin.
I don't know why it's so funny. You keep grabbing that mic. I gave you that to a new mic stand, and she's still like, I gotta grab onto it. We know.
Listen.
Do that little dance again.
This is so insane.
I know. It's so good though, right? There's so much.
Where's he getting all this money? Like, I don't even understand.
Well,
how this is happening.
I mean, he's raising money, putting out false ads about the election. So, okay, here's my favorite thing ever. I mean, I love this, and I'd love to. There's a part of this I want to cover too that I think is so good. But so North Carolina's had it, right? They're like, get the fuck out. So in January 2022, like he's got another year left on his term. A group of North Carolina voters formally challenged Cawthorn's qualifications to run again, citing, quote, his participation in the rally in last January and in Washington that questioned the presidential election outcomes and preceded the Capitol riot, end quote. So they're like, he incited a riot. Yeah. He shouldn't be allowed to run again, North Carolina. Yeah. By the way, good for you, North Carolina.
Yes, God.
Like, I love this.
Can we do something in Florida?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. The challenge is based on this is so nerdy political, but I fucking love it. The challenge is based on the 3rd section of the 14th Amendment, which prohibits anyone who is, quote, engaged in insurrection or rebellion, end quote, against the U.S. government from holding public office.
Why aren't they using this with Trump?
That's what I'm thinking. Under North Carolina law, the burden is on Cawthorn to show that a preponderance of the evidence that he is not an insurrectionist. The challenge was on hold while redistricting litigation continued because they had to figure out what his district actually is. And Cawthorn filed a suit in the U.S. court to dismiss the challenge before the state elections board could hear it. The North Carolina Attorney General's office, citing a 1919 application of the amendment to a congressman who had violated the Espionage Act in 1990, argued that the 14th Amendment could apply to Cawthorn, quote, if a state board determines he aided or encouraged the January 6, 2021 attack on the Capitol, end quote. In March 2022, Judge Richard Myers ruled in Cawthorn's favor based on an 1872 law that gave amnesty to Civil War insurrectionists.
What?
Yeah. But on May 24, 2022, an appeals court ruled that this law applied only to people who committed constitutional wrongful acts before 1872. So it doesn't apply to Cawthorn here.
No.
Because remember, when you participated in the Civil War and you were on the side of the rebels, right? Of the fucking treasonous traitors of this country, they were given blanket immunity. They were able to keep their shit, keep their property, keep whatever.
Biggest mistake we ever made.
And they said that only
because we were in a civil war.
Yeah, applies to these fucking idiots. It doesn't move forward, right?
What? Wow.
The appeals court could not determine whether Cawthorn is eligible for office. It only determined that the 1870 law does not shield him. So this never went anywhere.
Oh, so then it just kind of died.
So then he starts running for re-election for 2022. And in March 2022 interview, Cawthorn said about the sexual... this is what he said. This is where you know his Republican colleagues are like, get the fuck out of here, we hate you, right? So he says in this interview, he, quote, the sexual perversion that goes on in Washington, that's what he talks about. He said he had been invited to an orgy by an unnamed lawmaker. He also claimed that prominent Washington figures had used cocaine in front of him. So they pull this stupid fuck into a meeting. God. And they in a closed door meeting.
We're trying to party, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Or shut the fuck up, we're trying to win offices. We're trying to get a Republican majority in 22 so we can go fuck Biden, right? It's his midterm time. And so they pull him into a closed door meeting and multiple House Republicans complained about his comments and members of the Freedom Caucus considered ejecting Cawthorn from his membership. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, douche on bread, like white toast on white toast, and Minority Whip Steve Scalise then met with Cawthorn. And McCarthy later told reporters that Cawthorn had admitted his claims were exaggerated or untrue. He said, quote, he changes what he tells, and that's not becoming of a congressman. He did not tell the truth, and that's unacceptable, end quote, which we've known the whole time.
Can you say this about
Trump?
All
Anybody
your
else?
Republican colleagues who are trash?
Yeah. So, McCarthy then said that Cawthorn, quote, he's lost my trust and he's going to have to earn it back.
Quote. Who cares about your trust?
McCarthy, you're a douche.
Jesus.
In April 2022.
Oh my God. No one cares.
Yeah. In April 2022, American Muckrakers PAC requested an ethics investigation of Cawthorn's relationship with his aide, Stephen Smith, Cawthorn's second cousin. But there's some shenanigans happening with this guy. Allegedly. But there is a video where Cawthorn is driving a car and Stephen Smith's in the passenger seat and he's like videotaping and they're talking. And something is said about, I wish someone was laying underneath me. And Stephen Smith reaches over with his left hand and runs it over Cawthorn's crotch. That's a video that's out there. There's something, all right, I'm just saying,
I mean,
something's
in a
odd
weird,
here.
culty thing.
There's
maybe
a thing
they're
here.
both raised,
maybe,
Listen,
right.
Do you, man, but stop being a jerk to everybody else.
And also, let's talk about what Stephen Smith was up to. So the request that Cawthorn had provided more than $250 worth of free housing and travel to Smith in violation of the House rules, providing documents that appear to show Smith lives for free in a house owned by Cawthorn. The complaint also alleges that the two may have had an inappropriate personal relationships, possibly sexual in nature, something prohibited between a lawmaker and a member of their staff. In May 2022, the Daily Beast reported that Blake Harp, Cawthorn's chief of staff, who was paid $131,278 in that position in 2021, also received $73,237 in that year from Cawthorn's campaign. Despite House ethics rules that limit senior staff to earning $29,595 in outside income each year.
Is that some hush money?
Harp had also received payments from the campaign committee of Harp's mother, who ran unsuccessfully for Congress. And Harp was Cawthorn's campaign manager in 2020, becoming chief of staff in 2021. So all of this is leading up to, by the way, a lot of these ethics complaints are coming from other Republicans. They're looking to target this. They don't want him there anymore. So leading up to the primary election in North Carolina, where Cawthorn had a Republican opponent, they put an opponent against him in the primary, and they were being supported very heavily by the party, not Cawthorn. And so they were, because they were tired of him, right? And on May 17th, 2022, Cawthorn lost his renomination to Chuck Edwards, who was a state senator. Edwards went on to win the general election. He is now a U.S. House rep. On November 16th, 2022, Joel Burgess of the Asheville Citizen-Times wrote that Cawthorn had vacated and shut down his offices 2 months before the end of his term.
Wow.
And now,
way to do nothing.
Like the cherry on top of this shit sundae, where does Cawthorn move? Where does he go? Where would he be welcomed with open arms?
Florida.
Man,
I mean,
Madison Cawthorn is now a Florida man. He bought a home in Cape Coral, which is just inside Fort Myers on the West Coast, a $1.1 million home.
Where'd that money come from, yo?
Of course.
Where'd it come from?
And that is former U.S. House Rep Madison Cawthorn.
Ooh, he's gonna be running for some Florida stuff.
Oh, maybe. Well, it's very red, and it's very red over there, so it's
100%.
possible he could. It's possible he could get elected.
That's the only reason he's here. He wants that power.
Oh my God, so much.
God, please.
So that's it. It's a little long, but I couldn't.
It was great.
I couldn't get it. There's too much.
Well, I gotta tell you, I did not know any
Me
of
neither.
that.
Me
Any
neither.
of that. Like
I just knew he was a loudmouth.
Yes, that's sort of the idea I have about him, just being a loudmouth, just being rude, just being like, gross MAGA dude. But that's a lot of stuff.
I know. It's crazy.
That's a lot of stuff.
I know. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.